Good morning, and welcome to another Saturday morning coffee. A few weeks ago, I was working with a client, a senior executive, and we were in the middle of a conversation about AI strategy for their firm. And she mentioned, almost as an aside, that she'd been using Claude to plan a trip. I noticed it, not because it was impressive, but because it wasn't what I'd been coaching her to do. And yet, it was exactly the right thing for her to do. This morning, I'm doing something similar. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, at a hotel right now, about to drive home with my daughter, who just graduated from University of Colorado, back to Seattle. And we're leaving tomorrow morning. And so a few weeks ago, I sat down with Claude and I planned our route. So today, I'm going to walk you through the actual conversation. I'm not going to run a clean demo, a rehearsed demo. I'm going to show you the actual real conversation I had, the messy one. And I want to tell you why I think this matters more than most of the AI at work content that's all over the place. Let me show you. So it started with just, are there any good national parks? Because I figured if we're going to do this, at the very least, let's stop at a national park. It seemed like a right thing to do, a good thing to do. I love national parks. And I got some options. Okay, great. And let's see what happened though. And then I got kind of a map and a routing. Okay. And then Claude said, hey, are you, bringing Jordan's stuff back? Meaning, are you going to have a full car? Yeah. Okay. So some considerations, timing, long drive. Here's where I said, kind of when, and we could overnight. Is there somewhere unique we could overnight for an experience in a park? And it came up with a great suggestion I never even heard of, the Old Faithful Inn, which is this national historic, over 100-year-old building built with logs and stone. So I thought this was really cool. I checked it out. I liked the idea. I wasn't entirely sold just yet. I pushed back, asked for some more ideas, and said, well, what about some other parks? Because I don't know, I just seem like I don't always take the first thing. I like to look at all my options. But ultimately, I came back and said, what's so special about this Old Faithful Inn? And it gave me some details about the history and what it's about. And I thought this was kind of really cool. So I went and made a reservation. So I said, okay, fine, I'm going to go make a reservation. I came back, said I made a reservation. And I said, where would be another place to stop? And it said, well, maybe you go, where did it say? Bozeman, Montana, Missoula, Montana, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and suggested Coeur d'Alene. I said, okay, great, but the resort you gave me was really pricey, and I didn't want this to be super expensive. So it gave me some budget options. Okay, what's Craters of the Moon? Is it on the way? Is it worth stopping? Cool. Where would we overnight if we go south through Idaho? Gave us some options. I'm trying to decide between 1 or 2 nights. What are travel times, right? Let's look at the drive times. Well, one night is going to be about an 8-hour drive from Boulder to Old Faithful, and then about a 12-hour drive to Seattle. And I thought that's just really, really a long day. Plus, I'd like to spend a little bit of time in Yellowstone, and a little bit of time in the morning plus a 12-hour day is just going to be brutal. The 2-night option, much more reasonable. Okay, good. So, all right. And then I'm a Marriott rewards. So I wanted a Marriott hotel in Boise, any good locations. Great. So I said, all right, well, give me this, make the itinerary, put it together so I can look at it. And it flagged, heads up, day 3 is Mother's Day. So be aware of that. Now, fortunately, I already saw that. I already cleared it with my wife. So we're all okay. And then it made the plan. And a few things to point out, right? So, okay, great. Gives me a little bit of route where we're staying. A few things on my conversation. I said, we're going to spend some time in the morning, so let's just cancel Craters of the Moon. All right. And there it was. And so really what I want to point out is just the messiness of this. And so what I think most people miss about AI fluency, the version of AI that gets demonstrated in these kinds of videos so often is consistent in that it's write a great prompt, get a great answer, move on. But that's not how it works. And that's not how reality works. I mean, in any of these conference talks or LinkedIn posts, this is what they always show. But that's not what fluency looks like. Fluency looks like what you just saw, a back and forth. I corrected things. I refined. I pushed back. I added context. And the output got more useful each and every time I went back and forth with Claude. You don't build that muscle on high stakes work tasks. You're too cautious. And so you're worried about being wrong or about Claude being wrong, and the stakes are too high. And so I find that most people don't iterate, and they either take the first answer or they give up and don't use AI at all. Here's the key that I want you to take away. You build the muscle for using AI effectively in the margins. You build it in those things like trip planning, a recipe, a workout plan, a gift idea for someone in the family, low stakes, fast feedback. No professional consequences if Claude gets it wrong. The executive that I mentioned at the start, she's not going to bring AI fluency to her organization because someone trained her on a workflow. She's going to bring it because she's been quietly running dozens of these low stakes conversations and building intuition and building experience and credibility about when Claude is helpful, about when it's not, about how to push on it when the first answer isn't quite right. The work shows up later, but the reps happen now, and they happen in the margins. So, your assignment for this week. I'd like you to use Claude or any AI that you use for something that has nothing to do with your job. A few weeks after I planned this trip, in fact, I used Claude to figure out what book would be appropriate as part of the graduation gift for my daughter. And it helped me find the perfect book for her. Different problem? Same exact muscle. Plan a meal, pick a book, argue about a movie, iterate, push back, notice when the AI gets things wrong, and notice when it surprises you. The goal isn't getting to the perfect answer. The goal is getting in the reps. If you found this useful, subscribe to my channel below. I publish these videos every other Saturday. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I've got a road trip to start. And as always, break a pencil.